Oh, is this thing on? Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon if you're watching this in the middle of the day. This is a video about instructions. Let's see what this video is about. This video is about project instructions for the Historical Change Maker project. A poster project about a leader or influencer who made a change way back in history and what we can learn from them. It's such an exciting project, and we're going to learn so much about the inquiry cycle and the inquiry process. Here we go, giddy up. A one-slide summary of the task that you will need to do is you will start by choosing a person from history to research. Now we're looking at somebody who's been dead for over 200 years. And now what else do we need to know about that person? We're going to make a small rough draft poster to try and get our communication, written and visual, well done. We're going to make a final draft of the poster, which will be illustrated and colored. And it's going to include a whole bunch of things, including a title, your name, first and last name, on the front top right hand corner ideally, but any corner will do. Images, 2 to 3 images, 2 to 3 facts, 2 to 3 quotes, 2 to 3 questions, an opinion paragraph, and a report card giving scores on 10 different categories to your historical person. We're going to use the categories from the IB learning profiles, which we'll be learning and talking about throughout this project. Okay, moving on, we are going to look at slide number 2, pre-research. This is the start where we look at a whole bunch of people throughout time. And after looking at a whole bunch of people throughout time, you're going to choose someone who you're interested in to do deeper, further research. Ideally, somebody who has an important issue. Now, early in the project, if you need to change your mind and change the person who you decided to research because you want to go harder or easier or more complex, or you don't find the issue you want, that's okay. But as we go on with this project, it's a big project, it's going to be harder and harder to change. So you need to make a final decision about who you want to research as we do this project over 8 days. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's guest speaker time. Guest speaker. We've got T-Dog coming to town to explain some parts of this project for you. I'm so excited to have the guest speaker, T-Dog, because I really need to drink some coffee with my voice getting tired. Here comes Hey, T-Dog in the house. Mr. T-Dog is here to talk about learning, research, and quotes. Giddy up, here we go. Okay, looks like we're going to be doing some research, Mr. Vic. Let's see what we got here. I found 3 to 4 research sources, including at least 1 to 2 books and at least 2 websites. I have saved the information about my sources digitally on paper. It sounds like that's important for Mr. Vic. You better ask him what he wants you to do and how he wants you to save those sources. Oh, there's a whole other video he's done about saving sources. Quotes. What the heck? Quotes. I have selected sentences from the context of my research process to use as quotes. Oh, what does that mean? That means you need to read something from a book and pick a sentence that you choose to put into your work. You copy the sentence word for word, and then you put quotations around it, and then you put in brackets after that the author's name, and then it's not cheating. It's not academic dishonesty because you put the quotation marks around it. And because you put the quotation marks around, it shows you're a genius for quoting somebody who's a genius rather than doing something called cheating or plagiarism. All right, that's awesome. What else do you need to know about that? So you need to select a sentence from a book or a website. You need to copy it down into your work, but quotation marks around it. And then you need to acknowledge the author. Specifically for this project, it needs to be somebody writing about the person you're researching, not a quote said by the person. Now, What is a common grade 8 mistake? A common grade 8 mistake is they will go to Google. They will put in the word Leonardo da Vinci, because that's who they're researching, and then they will put in the word quotes. That is the wrong process, which will lead to the wrong results. Instead, you want to do your research in context. Ask Mr. Vic for clarification on that if you're still confused about how to do your research in the context and find your quotes in the context of your research. Okay, giddy up, here we go. Research continued. You need to find some interesting facts. Interesting. Man, imagine if Mr. T-Dog is in your audience. I don't want to be bored. I want to be interested and intrigued by your facts. I don't want to be hearing stuff I already know. Leonardo da Vinci was a painter. Yeah, I know that already. I know he was a painter. Tell me something I don't already know. Get me interested in something secret, something fun, something rare. Okay. All right, let's go back to teacher talk, teacher words. What do teachers word? Teachers use the word significant and relevant. Significant is used in the BC curriculum, and relevance is used in IB MYP language. What does that mean? How do we simplify that into teenage speak? Those words simplify to important, significant, relevant. They mean important. Okay, examples. How and why did they influence and lead change? That sounds important. Is it important to you? Is it important to me? Is it important to somebody else in the audience? Okay, what's important? How and why? That sounds important. Rather than where? More open. That sounds more important than the closed. Important issues, problems, challenges, solutions. What leadership problems did they face in changing the world? Okay. Story and character. People like novels, movies, cartoons, comics because of story, because of character development. What makes it interesting? Was the character a hero? Was the character a villain? Were they a liar? Were they honest? Tell me about their character, their story. Okay, what else do we got? Number 3, connect to the IB MYP learning profile words. Example word, principled, acts with integrity, honesty, and fairness. That's a fascinating word. Would you want to follow a leader who's lying to you, who you do not trust, or would you rather follow a leader who you trust? Think about that. Things that make you go, Okay, the interesting facts. The interesting facts should show your understanding as a student of terms and vocabulary, which is criteria A. Moving on to questions, open-ended. Sounds like Mr. Vic's gonna do a whole day talking about the quality of questions, the quality of research questions, and what is an open-ended question. For practice, you need to come up with 5 to 10 good questions. 5 of them minimum should be open-ended. And then you want to select your 2 to 3 best open-ended questions for your poster to demonstrate your skills coming up with powerful questions that are open-ended, interesting, relevant, and important to key issues that matter. Okay, let's see what we go on. Oh, it looks like there's a peer check process there. Next, written work, opinion, evaluation, paragraph. What does Mr. Vic mean by this? It sounds like you need to write a paragraph about your opinion where you evaluate your historic person. Oh, and your structure is important. In the first sentence of your opinion paragraph, you should clearly state your opinion. That is the structure of this paragraph. And after that, you should use some sentences with because. Because. Do not forget the word because. You need to show why you have your opinion, what are the reasons, and give evidence. A common mistake that some students may make, I think this person was a great leader because they did good stuff. Be specific. Be specific, people. Okay, here we go. Rough draft work is important. Rough draft work is important for all different levels, especially for refining your communication. Of course, you're going to need to do rough draft work to edit your written work and get rid of spelling and grammar mistakes. But it's more complex than just that. You also want to consider your visual communication as well as your written communication, your layout, where your title goes, how it goes. Some students will say to the teacher, "Oh, I wish I could draw. I can't draw. I'm going to have a hard time with visual communication." First of all, growth mindset means you can grow in all areas and learn in all areas. However, with that said, think about visual communication is more than just drawing skills. It's all the layout skills, all the font choosing skills, all the organization skills, the subheaders, the little spots, the little images, the little nuances you put in your visual communication. Do all the parts have headers and headings, subheadings? Okay, communication will be assessed on IB MYP criteria C. IB MYP criteria C is communication, which is 25% of your final mark. Okay, your project will also include an evaluation table. What are those key words that you'll need to include to evaluate your historic person? Are they good at being an inquirer? Are they knowledgeable? Were they a thinker? Were they a communicator? Were they principled? Were they open-minded? Were they caring? Were they a risk taker? Were they balanced? And were they reflective? Final, good copy of your poster. Check to make sure you remembered your first and last name. Check to make sure you have a clear title. Correct. Check and make sure you have all the parts. Check and make sure you've got headings to organize the parts. You've got 1, 2, or 3 images, and you've used color on at least 75% of your poster. Awesome. Now, okay, this is what your project will look like on Microsoft Teams. There is an assignments tab at the top here. Let's take a look at that. There's post, files, class notebook, and assignments. Under the assignments tab, you're going to find this assignment under Microsoft Teams where you can get more information about this assignment. The very first thing I'm going to show you here is something called Immersive Reader, where you can, if you're washing the dishes and you're too busy to read this, you can get Microsoft to read this to you through Immersive Reader. Now, as I turn this on, sometimes the volume controls spike and are a little out of sync, so watch out, the volume may go up. 3, 2, 1.
Historical Change Maker Inquiry Project. Due February 12, 2021, 12:30 p.m. Instructions. You're tasked to research a person from before 1750 who was significant because they were a leader or a change maker. Your final product will be an illustrated poster. Read the attached instructions. Watch the video about the instructions if you do not like reading. Read the rubric below. Submit or turn in your rough draft notes and work here to MS Teams. Or you can use the attached Word document to show evidence of your research by typing information directly into this Word document. Submit or turn in your paper poster to the teacher in class. Due on February 12, 2021, with an optional extension to Tuesday, February 16, 2021.
Okay, here we go. So you can get that to read it to you. That's pretty exciting. That's pretty powerful if you want to wash the dishes while you are getting the Microsoft to read you your instructions. I should also show you down here. People are like, how is a teacher going to mark your work? You click on the rubrics. You can see the rubrics are all here. There's A1 and A2. Let's go down here to B1 and B3. And notice that B1 is about questions. And B3 is about relevant information. Relevant, there comes back that word, which means important and significant. Okay, go down to communication. We can see there's 2 strands here for criteria C, communication. C1 and C2. Communicates information and ideas in a style that is mostly appropriate to the audience and purpose, the purpose being a poster, to communicate information about your historic person. Now here, this one is looking at organizing the information, and criteria D1 and D2. Notice here, you are going to complete a simple or substantial or detailed analysis of concepts, issues, models, visual representation, and or theories. So keep that in mind. You're looking for issues of the day. Also note, summarizes information in order to make valid arguments. Arguments are similar to opinions and evaluation. So you want to be thinking along the lines of opinions, evaluations, and arguments. And notice the word here, well-supported arguments with evidence points to support your arguments. Okay, moving on from the criteria, we're going to go back and take a look at this Word document. I'm going to open it up. Okay, I've opened this up to a part of this document called Frequently Asked Questions. Here you've got 10 pages of extra instructions and resources here in this Word document, and one of these pages is the frequently asked questions. If you are confused, let's take a look at one of these.
Frequently asked questions. 1. What criteria is the poster evaluated on? Criteria C. Communication. See top on instruction page. Your opinion about your person will be evaluated on criteria D. Critical thinking. Your opinion needs to be clear and supported with points. 2. Are we allowed to make our poster smaller than 11 by 17? No. 3.
Okay, why not smaller? You just don't have enough space if it's smaller than that.
3. Are we allowed to make our poster bigger than 11 by 17? Yes. 4. Are we required to answer our inquiry question on this poster? No, not for this project, however. That could be common on other projects. You have the option of answer one of your inquiry questions your opinion paragraph, which would be advisable for students trying to reach level 8. 5. What is due and when do I hand it in?
Okay, you get the idea that there's all of these frequently asked questions here. Now, we're going to take a look at another section of this document. This section of this document is the list of tasks. This is a checklist that you can use to go, check, I have done this, check, I have done this, check, I have done this. That simplifies the instruction into a list of tasks to make it easier for you. Okay, on page 2 of this project, it takes you through the instructions step by step. Step 1, choose a historical person from the timeline provided by your teacher. And there's a paragraph explaining step 1, how to choose your person. Step 2A, find 3 different quotes about your historical person, and it walks you through how to do that on this part of the document. All right, I think we have covered the basics of the instructions for this project. If you have now any more questions, you will need to email your teacher, Mr. Vic, at vic_a@surreyschools.ca, or you can get a hold of him at chat on Microsoft Teams. Thank you for your time. Time for outtakes. Oh, wait, that thing's still on. Quick, cut. Stop that thing. Cut. Oh, wait, I got my mask on. Oh, yeah, I got my mask on. I gotta find a better mask. Okay, watch how fast I can put my mask on. I've got my mask on. Wasn't that fast? Watch how fast I can take my mask off in 5, 4, 3, 2. I got my mask off. Isn't that amazing? It's so fast. Okay, yes. I like this one. It's kind of camouflage. All right. Cut.